begins on Flower Fruit Mountain, an island paradise full of dragons, magic birds, immortal peach trees, and one really big rock. Allow me to direct your attention to this rock, as it is about to perform a magic trick. Ta-da! The rock splits in half, revealing another rock! But this rock is special. It's actually a rock egg, no not that one, and it appears to have inherited the magic prowess of its daddy rock, as it scarcely existed for more than a minute before it abruptly transforms into a stone monkey. Now, this monkey may have spontaneously generated barely 3 seconds prior, but he already knows his manners, so he bows to the 4 cardinal directions, and in the process inadvertently activates his laser eyes, which cause quite a disturbance when they shoot all the way into the palace of the Jade Emperor, the head honcho of heaven himself. So the stone monkey hangs out with a friendly population of not stone monkeys who one day decide to follow their favorite river up to its source, whereupon they find that it comes, unsurprisingly, from a big fancy waterfall. So all the monkeys are like, oh man, if only one of us were impulsive enough to jump into the waterfall and see what happens, we'd make him the Monkey King! And the stone monkey is like, did somebody say impulsive? And dives in. So on the other side of the waterfall, he finds a gorgeous cavern decked out with an iron bridge and an enormous stone mansion, fully furnished with all the necessities of life. The monkeys are understandably impressed, and they all pile in to live in this newly discovered cavernous paradise, and for his achievement, the stone monkey is now officially crowned the Monkey King. So the monkey population of Flower Fruit Mountain live in peace and security for several hundred years, but one day Monkey King has an existential crisis, pulls a Gilgamesh, and goes on a quest for immortality. 9 years and 2 continents later, he finally finds an immortal Taoist sage who lives on top of the mountain of heart and mind in the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. Man, these names are a mouthful. So the immortal sage Subot takes on the Monkey King as one of his disciples, and he gives him a new name, derived from a large number of increasingly complex character traits, and long story short, his name is now Sun Wukong. So after a 7-year training montage, Subot finally teaches Sun Wukong a way to become immortal, which Wukong starts practicing. Another 3 years go by, and Sun Wukong is feeling pretty good about life. He's practicing the Tao, he's functionally immortal, and life is good. But Subot warns him that he's not out of the woods yet. Turns out, the court of heaven doesn't actually approve of this method of immortality, and will send down 3 calamities in an effort to kill him, one every 500 years. First, they'll strike him with lightning, then later, if that didn't work, they'll set him on fire. And finally, if neither of those do the trick, they'll straight up disintegrate him. This understandably wigs out Sun Wukong, but Subot offers to teach him the art of the earthly multitude, which will let him transform into 72 different things. With this, the 3 calamities won't be able to touch him. He also teaches Wukong how to fly, just because. But, unsurprisingly, giving awesome cosmic powers to a suicidally impulsive magical monkey leads to some wacky hijinks, and Master Subot has to kick him out so he won't accidentally reveal his secret teachings. So Sun Wukong, now immortal, 20 years older and hypothetically wiser, at last returns to the Water Curtain Cave on Flower Fruit Mountain, and he returns just in time since the monkey population has been being harassed by a monster known only as the Monstrous King of Havoc, who's been intermittently stopping by and kidnapping them to use as servants. So Wukong goes and challenges the monster to a duel and proceeds to absolutely kick his ass with his newfound Taoist superpowers, and then he rescues the captive monkeys and flies them all back home. So all is well on Flower Fruit Mountain, but Wukong decides that his monkey kingdom should probably have a monkey army so stuff like the kidnapping thing doesn't happen anymore. On that note, Wukong also takes a trip down to the Dragon Palace in the Eastern Ocean to see if the Dragon King has a weapon befitting his strength that he could borrow. Long story short, after dismissing every superpowered weapon the Dragon King offers him, Wukong ends up taking an obscenely heavy magic size-changing iron pillar out of the palace treasury and using it as a staff. So Wukong's very happy with his new weapon and asks the Dragon King for some fancy new duds to go with his fancy new stick thing. And by now, the Dragon King is so terrified of this super powerful monkey that he gathers all of his dragon brothers and together they assemble a fancy outfit for Wukong just to get him out of their house. When he returns to Flower Fruit Mountain to show his mates his gear, he gets so hyped up that he briefly turns into a huge demonic caricature of himself, which terrifies the local demon population so much that demon kings show up at his front door to form an alliance with him. So life is going pretty well for the Monkey King, until one day, while taking a nap, he's abruptly kidnapped by 2 emissaries of Yama, the king of hell, who carry him off to the underworld. Wukong is understandably pissed, seeing as this is technically death and violates the whole immortality deal, and he starts bashing his way into the Palace of Darkness to lodge a complaint with the 10 kings. So the 10 kings are like,
whoa, there must have been some kind of mistake. I mean, there must be a bunch of dudes named Sun Wukong, right?
And Wukong is like, yeah, right. Show me where that's written down. So they sort through all the ledgers of the dead until they find the one about him, and he scribbles out his name, along with the names of as many monkeys as he can find, thus freeing them from the jurisdiction of the underworld gods. Satisfied, Wukong bashes his way back out of the underworld, then wakes up and tells all the monkeys the good news. But all is not well in the kingdom of heaven, as the Jade Emperor finds himself inundated with complaints about this Monkey King who keeps causing trouble. So at first the Jade Emperor wants to have him arrested for his shenanigans, but the spirit of Venus suggests instead that they offer the Monkey King a position in the bureaucracy of heaven, whereupon they'd be able to better control his actions and easily discipline him if need be. The Jade Emperor gives the thumbs up and they send down the Gold Star of Venus to deliver the offer to Wukong,